What's up guys, Chaz with Coach Chaz Fitness here. This is going to be topic number 3 of my top 15 healthy habits for living an active lifestyle. We're going to dive right into it. The hardest one of them all, nutrition. Here's the thing with nutrition. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you this. There is no one set nutritional protocol or no one set meal plan that is going to get you super shredded and super ripped. Each person is designed so differently that one diet that works for one person may not work for the rest, or vice versa. When it comes to diet and nutrition, you have to pick one protocol, and I have 3 of them written up here for you to try out. You have to pick one and stick with it to a T and be consistent for a minimum of 2 to 3 weeks. I say that because I see too many people, including myself, I've done this many times in the past. I will start something new, I'll be super excited about it. After 1 week, I look at myself in the mirror and go, what the hell? I don't see any difference, this diet doesn't work. Not true. When it comes to nutrition, it takes time, consistency over time, to see and feel the ultimate result from whatever you're following. So we're gonna dive right into a few of these, but I just want to throw that out real quick. There is no big secret nutrition and guideline to follow to get you the results that you want. You have to use trial and error. You have to be willing to bust your butt and put in the work to find what works best for you, because what works for me or other people or bodybuilders may not work for others. Vice versa, you have to put in the effort to see what works best for you. So diving right into the basics of nutrition. We're gonna start with calories. Biggest question is, how many calories do I eat? Everyone, I do it myself too, the days that I don't track anything. Everyone generally overeats, meaning they're eating way more than they think they are. It's funny when I get somebody that comes to me as a new client and they're like, okay, I'm ready to do this, I'm ready to start doing the nutrition stuff. So I'll say, okay, awesome, let's get a baseline. So I'll run them through a few things. First one I ask is, how many calories do you think you're eating per day? They'll throw out a number saying, oh, I don't know, let's say 2,000 calories for example. So I say, okay, over the next 3 days, I want you to eat exactly how you normally eat, but the difference is I want you to use MyFitnessPal, which is a great tool to use if you want to track stuff. It tracks your calories, proteins, carbs, fats, sugars, etc. So I'll tell them, track everything you eat. And most times, people are going to be eating way more than they think they are. That person who thought that they may be eating 2,000 calories may be up towards 2,400 to 2,600 calories. You never know. So using MyFitnessPal is a great tool just to kind of get a baseline for where you're at right now and to see where you can cut back on. But a great way to tell how many calories you need, again, each person is built so differently, and calorie requirements really depend on your body fat, your body composition, your height, your weight, your activity level every day, your metabolism. There's so many different aspects, so I can't just say you need this many calories without knowing you and your lifestyle. So a great general calculator is going to be linked right below here in the description. I'll put calorie calculator with a link. You input your height and your weight and how active you are on a daily basis, and it will pop out with different numbers. One is going to be how many calories you need to maintain your body weight, and then how many you need to lose a pound a week, lose 2 pounds a week, or vice versa if you want to gain a pound or gain 2 pounds a week of the healthy weight. So that's a great tool to use to get a general baseline number. Again, try it out for 2 or 3 weeks, hitting whatever calorie number you want. See how your body reacts, see how your weight changes, and then adjust from there when needed. If you're losing weight too fast, meaning 3, 4, 5 pounds a week, which if you're fairly healthy, you shouldn't be dropping that much to begin with. But if you are dropping too fast, you just eat a little bit more. If you're not dropping enough, you eat a little bit less. Just adjust that. It's very simple math to do, but the hard part is doing it consistently. So that's calories. Now what makes calories up are going to be called your macronutrients. That's going to be your proteins, your carbs, and your fats. Each one of those 3 categories plays an important role in the body, and you should not deprive yourself of any one of them to the extreme. There's too many diets out there that are low fat, high protein, high carb, low fat, high fat, low carb. Like, there's so much BS thrown out there just because somebody wants to make a buck. Do your research on the nutritional protocol you want to follow. And like I said, follow it for a minimum of 2 to 3 weeks. See how your body reacts to it. But when it comes to protein, carbs, and fats, protein, for those of you who don't know, I'll cover just the very basics. It goes in deeper, of course. Protein is going to be made up of branched chain amino acids. Those amino acids are the building blocks of your muscular system. You need the protein to build a healthy body, to keep your muscles functioning at optimal level. Carbs are going to be your body's quickest and typically #1 source of energy. You'll find that typically on something like the Paleo diet, you usually go through a few days where you feel like absolute crap because you're depriving yourself of sugar and carbs, which our bodies normally just run on like crazy because it's very fast digesting. When you eat a carb source, it breaks down within minutes. As opposed to protein and fats, those take a little bit more time to break down into the body, into blood sugar. So carbs, #1 source, and you definitely need to have them, and this gets in a little bit deeper conversation later on. So anyways, we're covering the basics on these. Fats are going to be very important for your hormones, especially in the neurotransmitters in your brain. Your brain is made up of mostly fat. That's very good for joints. You know, you get a lot of inflammation in joints and different stuff like that when they're being banged up all the time. So fats are incredibly important in the body, and never, never, never do a low-fat diet. That's the one thing I will point out. There's lots of studies and all that stuff to show you that low-fat is going to be beneficial, when in fact, if you look at the other studies that are done against that, those are actually going to be the right way to go. So if you ever are feeling just like in a cloudy fog mentally all the time, increase your fat intake. It can be something as simple as just a handful of nuts, or even like an extra avocado each day. Coconut oil is a very powerful source of good, healthy fats. You would be amazed what it does for you mentally when you get the right amount of fat in your diet. I know for me, I was always just kind of out of it, low energy, that kind of stuff. When I got my fat intake up, bam, it's like a shield just came out from my eyes. I'm mentally clear all the time. So that covers the basics. Going into cheat meals. So cheat meals are always a fun subject, right? Cheat meals. What are my take? What's my take on cheat meals? So I 100% believe in cheat meals because it keeps us sane. And #2, junk food tastes amazing. There's a reason we are battling an epidemic right now with obesity in America, because they find ways to put crap in food to make it absolutely taste amazing and to make you become addicted to it. It's the trans fats and the sugars and the high carb, all that kind of stuff. Our body just craves it. Our body loves that stuff. And it holds on to it as fat, of course. But this is all in relation to if you're eating too much of it too often. So when you're working with cheat meals, what I usually recommend is go 2 days without one, eating fairly clean. Your 3rd day, have a small cheat meal, you know, pizza, cupcakes, whatever you want. Don't binge on it. Have it in moderation, but just to satisfy that craving, you know, because we all get that feeling in the pit of our chest and our throat that we just crave it, we need it. That's just how our body works for some reason. So start with going 2 days off. 1 day, have your cheat meal on the 3rd day. Try going 3 days, and then on the 4th day have your cheat meal. And then try going 4 days, and then on the 5th day have your cheat meal. So you kind of baby step your way up to going 4, 5, 6 days at a time without really having much junk. You'll find that your body will definitely run better when you're cutting some of that stuff out. Some people can tolerate fats and sugars way better than other people. I know for myself, if I eat too much too often, I feel sluggish. I can definitely feel it in my gut. My digestion sucks. So for me personally, I like to go about 3 or 4 days eating my normal diet. And then on the 4th or 5th day is when I'll just kind of take an off day from the diet. I'll still eat my healthy meals, But if I feel like having pizza, I'm gonna have 2 or 3 slices of pizza. If I feel like having ice cream, I'll have a bowl of ice cream. It keeps us sane, and you can incorporate this stuff into your diet and still get your results. Too often we look at cheat meals as like this forbidden thing, like no, never have it. But the more you deprive yourself of it, the harder you are going to crash. I know because I've personally been there. I used to be severely addicted to fast food. I had an hour commute each way to work, 5 days a week for 2 years. And during that 2-year period is when I put 60 pounds on. I got to 225 at my heaviest. I'm about 176 to 178 right now. So I know how bad it is to be addicted to that stuff. But when you finally learn to cut it out, you feel amazing. It's incredible how great you feel. So that's my take on cheat meals. It's not a forbidden source, but going back to my fast food addiction, when I went cold turkey and tried to never have any of that stuff, no pizza, burgers, nothing, I would last a while. I might last a few weeks at a time, but guess what? When I crashed, it was bad. It was hard. I would go a week or two sometimes just eating complete crap every day and digging that hole deeper and deeper. Just because when you crash like that from depriving yourself, it's never a good thing, especially what it does to you mentally. So cheat meals are not a bad thing. You just have to learn how to incorporate them into your regular diet in moderation and in the right way that's actually going to benefit you both mentally and physically. So moving on, fruit. We're going to talk about fruit because good old my buddy Phil wanted to talk about fruit. Here's my take on fruit. Mother Nature provides what we need. God put on this earth everything we need. If it's walking, running, and you can kill it, minus humans, of course, a little weird. So, if you can hunt it or if you can grow it, eat it. Okay, we don't need the extra processed crap. But here's the thing with fruit. You always hear like, fructose is so bad, fructose is so bad. Fructose is horrible for you if it's the extracted fructose out of the whole fruit, because what scientists do is they take the whole fruit, which in itself is packed full of vitamins, minerals, fiber, nutrients that your body needs, antioxidants. That whole fruit is an extremely amazing thing that you can put in your body. That fructose in it is going to be broke down a little bit slower in the entire fruit itself, in the raw version. But here's what scientists do. They take just the fructose out because it's sweet and they put it into other foods, or they put it as a sweetener just by itself. That's when that form of it is going to be terrible on your body. There are so many studies out there right now on it. But the whole fruit by itself, I am a firm believer that unless you have some type of insulin issue going on, fruit is not going to negatively affect you. I personally sometimes eat up to 3, 4, 5 pieces of fruit a day, and I'm the healthiest I've ever been. You can even do fruit post-workout, because especially bananas are so packed full of nutrients, and those things are going to be awesome post-workout. Get all that stuff shoved right back into your system. So that's my personal take on fruit. Other people, and the thing with nutrition, all this stuff up here that I'm talking about, this is based on my personal experience, what I've seen in my clients, and what I've studied myself. Now, you can talk to 50 other people about this stuff, and you're going to get 50 different answers. Like I said, the human body is not designed to have a nutrition that's a one-size-fits-all. You have to try stuff out for yourself. But as far as fruit, eat that stuff. That stuff is amazing for you. That's nature's vitamins and minerals. If you guys don't know, your body cannot produce vitamins and minerals. We have to get it through the foods we eat. And that's where fruits and veggies come in, and that's why they're so important, because it's packed full of that stuff. So, as far as fruit, I'm gonna say unless you have any specific insulin issues like insulin sensitivity, that's where you might want to steer a clear, limit it a little bit. You can still have some, but don't binge on it, don't overdo it, because it does have, the fructose is a sugar, so it will, elevate blood sugar levels, that kind of stuff. I'm just gonna leave it at that though. That's my personal opinion on it. It is grown by the face of the earth, eat it. Moving on to these 3 different nutritional protocols. These three are slightly different from each other in different ways, and I'll explain each one. So what I want you to do is find one that you think you can stick with, and what you want to do is do it for a minimum of 2 to 3 weeks. And you can even test your body fat percentage if you have the calipers, do the pinching test, take your weight, take your measurements. If you can do your water, that would be great too. So what you do is you do a day 1 and then do like a day 21 and see the difference, and then adjust from there when needed. If one of these works for you, awesome. If not, find something else, make little adjustments. Reach out to me, that's what I'm here for as a coach, to help give you different recommendations on what I've personally been through. So starting with paleo. Paleo diet is basically, it's also known as the caveman diet. So paleo, the biggest parts of paleo is you are going to cut out, obviously, all your extra sugars. You're going to cut out your junk food, your fast food, cut all that junk out. What you're going to do is you're cut out your grains and your gluten, and then you're going to cut out your dairy. Those are kind of the two big ones. So with grains and gluten, sweet potatoes and rice are the two exceptions for this. So if you are an athlete, or if you're a lot more active than the average person, then you're going to need some of those extra carb sources like the sweet potatoes and the rice. Cut out dairy completely. You increase your natural fat intake through avocados, organically raised wild meats. Especially in like grass-fed beef, there are so many potent, powerful nutrients in that. So you increase your fat intake through natural meats, avocados, nuts, seeds, and something like coconut oil. Coconut oil is one of those things, if you're not using it, go get it. I don't care which one of these you're following. Coconut oil is going to be one of the best things for you on the planet. So what do you eat on the paleo diet? You eat meat, fruit, veggies, nuts, seeds, and oils. Now, if you are severely carb and sugar dependent, this is going to be very tough. I love to follow the paleo diet myself. I do a slight modification to it just because I'm very active every single day. I do massage therapy, plus I do some days or 2 workouts because of Fit Club. So I feel that for my body type, I found what works best if I follow paleo, but I add in those sweet potatoes and the rice and those extra carb sources on my big active days. So what you eat is meat, fruit, veggies, nuts, seeds, and oils. If you're very carb dependent, when you first switch to this, we call it the Carb Blue. Usually it can last from 2 to 7 days. You might have headaches, you might feel extremely fatigued and tired and grouchy, you might not be sleeping that great. It's because your body's being deprived of the carbs and the sugars that you're usually used to running on. And what it's doing with that natural fat intake, it's kind of transitioning from you're going from a sugar carb burning machine to a fat burning machine. So there's that transition happening. So until that transition happens, you might feel like crap. I know I first did. It lasted about 4 or 5 days. I was a grouchy person to be around. But once my body made that transition, I learned to run off of fats. Man, I tell you, my mental clarity, my energy, everything has been fantastic ever since. And I feel a difference now when I eat way more sugars and carbs than usual. I feel a difference. I just feel sluggish. So that's kind of the paleo diet in a nutshell. Do some research. There's some great books out there. The Primal Blueprint is the one I started with by Mark Sisson. That's a great book to study. So, paleo diet. If you guys have any questions, feel free to message me. That's what I'm here for. Going into number 2 is going to be carb cycling. So carb cycling is another one I've played around with, and it does work. I definitely saw a body fat percentage drop when I tried this out. This is a technique that Chris Powell uses on the Extreme Makeover Weight Loss Edition show. He uses it on his severely obese clients, and obviously they get amazing results off of it. So carb cycling, you're eating a very, very healthy, balanced diet, but the only difference is you're going to cycle your carb intake. So example, if you're starting on a Monday, you're going to do 2 days low, 1 day medium, 1 day high, 2 days low, 1 day medium. So what does that look like? Monday, Tuesday, you're going to do higher fats and higher higher fats, higher proteins. You're gonna do low carb. It really depends on your lifestyle and how active you are and your body type. So even down to as low as 50 grams per day for those first 2 days. So that's Monday, Tuesday. And then Wednesday, start to bring in a little bit more carbs. And so that's gonna be your medium day. Thursday is gonna be a high carb day. You can even match this up with your cheat day, which is gonna be an extremely good thing to do mentally by that time. After doing those low carb days, mentally you're just kind of out of it. So Thursday is gonna be a high carb day. Mix in your cheat meal with that day, post workout if you want. And then going back to 2 more low carb days. And then following that up with Sunday being a high carb day again. And then you repeat the cycle. So it's gonna be 2 low, 1 medium, 1 high, and then 2 low and 1 high. That's a 1 week span. And that's just one way to do it. Do some research on carb cycling. There's different ratios they use. So like I said, just pick one out, try it out for a few weeks, see how your body reacts to it. That's the basics of carb cycling. Going into kind of a regular balanced diet, a good one to follow is 40, 30, 30. And that means you take a total of how many calories you're going to do. So let's say a basic 2,000 calorie diet. 40% of your calories are going to be from protein, 30% from carbs, and 30% from fats. So in each meal, you're just going to have a balanced portion of a protein source, a fat source, and a carb source. You're not depriving yourself of any one of those 3 categories. Each meal is just balanced in portion throughout the entire day. So that's kind of the basics on that. On that one, you can do some more whole grains if your gut can handle it. In the whole grains, and then lean meats are going to be like turkey, chicken, and fish. You want to stay away from kind of the pork and the fattier stuff. So that's for kind of a balanced diet. So there you have it, folks. Nutrition. It's been covered, the basics, and this is all based on my personal experience, what has worked for me, what has not worked. Like I said, pick one of these out. Yeah, paleo, carb cycling, or balanced. Pick one of those out. Reach out to me if you need more one-on-one help. You know, like I said, each person's so different, so I can talk to you, figure out your lifestyle, your activity level, and find which one's going to work best for you. Pick one out, try it. Minimum of 2-3 weeks. Let me know how it goes. Be sure to check out our sponsor, fundsforyourlife.com. This has been Coach Chaz. Live in excellence, guys.